お妃様もマオマオが仕えてた玉葉妃で決まったそうだし。
By now, many fans have fallen in love with Maomao after watching her go through all sorts of mystery and intrigue in the Apothecary Diaries. She's cute, witty, smart, and overall just prime waifu material all around. And for many fans along with myself, one of her defining traits is her stoic attitude. Whatever the pressure or problem before her, she faces it all with little emotion on her face, using every bit of her wit and intelligence to end up on top when it's all said and done. And on top, she usually is indeed. You can't let yourself be fooled by Maomao's small stature. This entire anime is pretty much built on her being superhuman with her mind. But of course, this is still the Apothecary Diaries we all know and love. Everything is grounded in reality to some extent. While Maomao is smart, this comes at the price of her lack of understanding of human emotions. Not to any cartoony degree, mind you, this is the main bit where many fans find endearment after all. Maomao finds it difficult to understand feelings like love or even friendship, the curse of a logical mind. And many people in real life suffer the very same curse. But with that in mind, it is somewhat of a writer's miracle that she stayed on a relatively straight and upright path in the moral scale. Maomao has every tool in the box to be an absolute menace to society, and with her shortcomings in empathy, new space for cruelty may even emerge. So today let's take a look at a somewhat more bleak but nonetheless interesting path in the series that the creator could have taken. What if Maomao had a lust for power?
この男になんでフミのことがバレてるんだ？十分周りに気をつけていたのに。
The girl who wants for nothing. Maomao was raised in humble beginnings, living in the slums of the Pleasure District with her surrogate daddy, Luomen. She also frequently stayed around the Verdigris house as the old boss lady felt responsible for her, and the big sisters over there also cared for Maomao as much as they could. That being said, they were all understandably quite busy. Luomen was a doctor in a place that knew no shortage of help, and the Verdigris house was, well, you know, all that to say, Maomao had every reason to develop a humble personality. While she definitely picked up much street smarts and apothecary knowledge, she had no reason to stray away from a morally good path. In fact, the old daddy Luomen even made it a point to instill in the apothecary-obsessed Maomao not to mess around with deceased bodies. This is considering that the act itself could be a potential trigger for her to stray from the moral path and do all sorts of unethical experiments.
ってやぶである。
ジョーちゃん、代わりに見てくれないかい？
ダメです。死体には触るなと言われているので。
But whatever the case, it's made apparent to us fans that Maomao really had no otherworldly desires outside the apothecary path. Accepting her fate and quietly working as a servant in the inner palace at first, she had no plans to further her position or even find a way to escape. Add on to the fact that even her salary as a servant was getting split by her initial kidnappers, and it's clear that Maomao is more of the go with the flow type gal. It's only when she eventually makes contact with Jinshi that Maomao is introduced to the inner palace world proper. And even through this, we see she was disappointed at the fact that her ability to read was discovered and her knowledge was being used. But at the end of the day, it's Maomao's good nature that led her to that very spot. Maomao just can't help but solve a mystery right in front of her, especially if it's one that could save a life. The very girl who wouldn't lift a finger to further her own well-being put herself in danger for the sake of the other. Before moving on, remember to like, share, and comment on this video, and subscribe to see more awesome content like this one.
どれが偶然で、どれが必然なのか、それすらもよくわからない。
The poison in power. So what would change if Maomao actually craved power? Well, just to bring the discussion towards something we can actually visualize through the anime, let's suppose that her lust for power began after she was kidnapped. Frustrated by the forced labor brought upon by her kidnapping, this could have been a key moment that begins the rotting of Maomao's outlook in life. The world is unjust, so why should she be otherwise? Eventually, she hears of the rumors surrounding Gyokyo and Liwa's children, and just like that, an opportunity arises. one that could only be capitalized upon by a girl with her expertise. Now you'd think she just saved both babies from their fate upon discovering this opportunity, but if we're to go relying solely on logic, it would be best for Maomao to only approach Liwa directly. After all, Liwa is the one with a son who has the best chance of gaining power in the palace. Also, seeing how agitated Liwa is, she's a prime target for manipulation. And so, Maomao quickly reveals the cause to Liwa for going any unreliable secret letters. Liwa's son is saved, and Liwa herself can avoid any harsh sickness from the same poisonous makeup that was the root of the entire problem. With all that done, Maomao would have gained the gratitude of Mommy Liwa, and her life in the inner palace from there out could have potentially been much more different. But it's also possible that Maomao saves Gyokyo's child. It's never good to put all your eggs into one basket after all, and Maomao is far too smart not to have any backup plans. Naturally, all this activity would also capture the attention of the pretty prince himself, Jinshi.
早く逃げよう。
ダメじゃないか。君は居残りだよね。黙ってついてこい。
The question is, what will Jinshi's interactions with the power-hungry Maomao be? Well, just as in the actual story, he'd most likely consider Maomao a useful pawn all the same. So it makes sense that the developments from there on out would be similar. Jinshi would have presented the very same issues and mysteries on Maomao's doorstep, and Maomao would have no real reason to refuse these tasks. The more she accomplishes, the more her worth rises. Eventually, Maomao would also have run into the mystery of the honey, the mystery involving the head lady-in-waiting of Aduo, Fengming. With this, I don't see any reason why Maomao would want to expose Fengming's crime of baby murder. This is the same as with the earlier case about that one consort who cooks up a scheme to be given away to her actual true love. Maomao may be power hungry, but she isn't some chaotic evil villain here. If there isn't anything to gain, her light side would still steer her towards a kinder ending. At the very least, from doing this, her reputation with the people involved rises just a little bit. Besides, keeping things this way makes it easier for the culprit, Feng Ming, to accept her fate, earning Maomao another easy accomplishment. Things change though when it comes to Maomao's realization involving Jinshi. From this case, Aduo ends up being expelled from the inner palace, and one particular moment gives Maomao one massive hint. Jinshi and Aduo are related.
そうか。誰かに似ていると思ったが、jinshi様のことだったようだ。
Practically every fan who was watching this anime could not unsee this either. It makes sense for light novel readers to be blinded by the lack of visuals. But from the very moment Aduo hit the screen, real fans could already smell something fishy going on behind the scenes. Even in the original timeline, Maomao also thinks the same. It's just that her original desire for anonymity and avoiding trouble made her intentionally hold back on some IQ points. But what is there to gain from this knowledge, I hear you ask? Well, if an emperor's consort did have a child, that could only mean it's a child of the emperor himself. That's right, the very thing Jinshi himself is unable to 100% confirm is now discovered fact for our Chinese Sherlock Holmes. This is when things really turn spicy. With Maomao being power hungry, a ripe young prince right in front of her is sure to be prey to some of her schemes. However, there is one small problem that has to be answered. Would Maomao have stayed a disgusted sadist towards Jinshi during their initial meeting? This is, after all, an important factor as to why Jinshi warms up to her. Going back to what we discussed earlier, being power hungry is the only real trait we're introducing to Maomao. It is possible that seeing the eunuch Jinshi, Maomao would feel disgusted by his beauty all the same, as by this time she's unaware of his actual worth as a hidden prince. She may change her tune later after seeing how close Jinshi is to the top consorts in the palace, but by that time she would have already seen the sparkle in his eyes. As smart as she is, Maomao would definitely be able to deduce that Jinshi is in fact a masochist. So with that all in mind, yeah, the way is wide open for Maomao to quickly and easily tug the heartstrings of Jinshi. The grind of solving mysteries and schemes is no longer top priority. All Maomao has to do to gain power now is to capture the heart of the prince in hiding. And if the questionable scenes with Jinshi are any indication, this task is gonna be quite simple for the keen Maomao. Plus, she can always turn to her apothecary knowledge. The light side of power.
下ろしてください。
If you notice, there's actually one particular change that's kinda just good all around. The saving of Liwa's first child. This moment in the anime always bothered me, but Maomao's use of anonymous messages is really just a result of her wanting to stay out of the spotlight. With great hunger for power comes bolder initiative. And funny enough, Apothecary Diaries isn't too unique in this aspect, as many other anime MCs would fare way better with a bit more boldness in their moves. But that's not everything a hunger for power can get ya. As we touched on, eventually Maomao would find her way deep into Jinshi's heart. All those heart-pumping moments we get from the anime, we'd be getting even more, and probably get their union as an actual couple much sooner than what we have in reality. And if that's the case, is it too much to ask for genuine love to form? The hunger for power can definitely corrupt, but if it's Maomao we're talking about, it's unlikely she'll turn into some everyday corrupt sleazebag. It's likely that she'd end up close with Xiaolan nevertheless, and with Shisui maybe she'd even be sharper in figuring out her true motives and plans. If that's the case, a lot more could change in regards to the bigger picture. Maybe Maomao could even be an active participant in Shisui's schemes, leading to a much more favorable outcome than what we got. Concerning someone like Lacan though, it's unclear if she'd actually want anything to do with him. After all, being hungry for power doesn't make her any more forgiving. She has Jinshi anyway, so connecting with her old man isn't as essential as one would think. Especially considering he'd probably get in the way of Maomao getting together with Jinshi. I suppose the lesson here is that even a power-hungry Maomao can still find love.
これは一体一杯では問題ない薬なのだろう。いくら憎らしいからといって本当に毒を盛るなんて。
薬ですよ。
But if you thought this video was powerful, consider leaving a super thanks down below. And comment down below what you thought of today's video. Have you ever imagined a Maomao altar wreaking havoc? Would you want to see an anime with that sort of twist on this amazing story? Do you think Jinshi would actually love a greedier Maomao in the first place? Let us know in the comment section down below. We can't wait to hear it all. As always, thanks for watching. We'll be seeing you again next time.